Hey, shalom guys, it's Fletch. Welcome back to OTH. So today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the fine line, so to speak, between being the FNG and being the new know-it-all, right? And so here's what I'm talking about. A lot of times, especially guys that come from a military background, where we've got a term FNG, the effing new guy, right? And because he doesn't know anything, right? And initially, right, they're not really good for a lot because they just don't know what they don't know, right? And it's kind of like being an E7 and you get a new butter bar, right? But lest I digress any more than I already have. We did some shooting this weekend. Me and a bunch of my neighbors got together, and we did some shooting. It was a great time of camaraderie. It was also a great time to fun, obviously, but then also to be able to assess the acumen of your neighbors, right? And actually for me, it was very I left with a great sense of security, shall we say, that all of the people that were there could hit a pie plate 100 yards. But in doing that, it also kind of made me think of, the whole idea or concept between being the FNG and also being the new know-it-all. So let's start with the FNG. So the FNG is the new guy, right? And I think that a lot of times, if you are a part of the establishment, shall we say, whatever that is, right? And that's going to differ place to place. It's going to differ from how things work where you're at, right? But even if the place, the organization that you're talking about, maybe if it's only been there for a year, right, you're the establishment. And so when the new guy comes, right, they want to feel like they're towing the line, so to speak, that they're participating, that they're valued, I guess, is probably the most important thing. And I think that a lot of times we as human beings, that when we're part of the establishment, that we see the exuberance and the energy of the FNG, and rather than feed off of that and allow it to be a good positive thing as well, because those FNGs breathe new life into whatever organization or community or gathering that is. And so you do need a fresh flow of FNGs coming in. Conversely, the other side of that is the new know-it-all, right? The guy's like, well, from where I'm from, that's not the way we did it. And no one wants to hear that, right? And as the old saying goes, well, if it was so great where you're from, then why'd you come here? And so it's very difficult, in my opinion, to find the right mix of those things, because if you want FNGs to get plugged in right away and you want FNGs to share their opinion, then you can't shut them down as soon as they start talking, right? Different things like that. If you ask them for their opinion and they give their opinion, right, then you can't get all butthurt and offended because they gave their opinion. Likewise, if you are, the proverbial FNG, no one wants to hear the comment that adds no value to the conversation about how you used to do things. And so, as people, that are going into a possible time where it would certainly appear that things are going to be difficult, And you know, you need to learn who you can trust and who you can't, and who's going to be there for you and who's not, right? And just be aware of those things, right? That if you want FNGs, then right, you've got to include them in things. And you know, if you ask them for their opinion, then you can't get butthurt and offended when they give you their opinion. But also, secondly, you know, if you are the FNG, right, and if the way that they're doing things is not broken or unworking, you know, no one wants to hear about how you used to do it where you came from, so to speak. And other than, you know, if you do know for a fact that there's a better way of doing it, right? But then again, you know, you kind of get into that little quandary as well. Well, which way is the better way? Because people have normalcy bias, right? They don't want to change. They don't want to do anything differently unless it's just absolutely necessary, and they're not going to do it. So as you are, you know, living your life and deciding what you are going to do in the coming times ahead, you know, make sure that you are investing in others and investing in relationships. And yes, it's difficult. It's very difficult. You know, especially if you get a bunch of guys together that have some form of a type A personality, right? Like, you know, you can, you know, do the whole Myers-Briggs assessment, you know, and, you know, have your 4-letter acronym, you know, that describes your personality and how you think and different things like that. But almost all of those personalities, you can still have some form of a dominant personality. Well, you get, you know, 4 to 10 dudes together that have that makeup, yeah, you know, you're gonna have some problems here and there. And which brings me to my next point, which is just simply that you need to have a common core. And you know, what is that common core for your group? You know, I know for our group, one of the main things is that, you know, you have to have a faith in, you know, Yeshua HaMashiach, right? Jesus the Christ, and you know, keep the commandments. Does that mean that's what you need to do? No, I'm just sharing you my personal experience, and it's just that, my personal experience. And you know, in our group, that is one of the main things that is required. So what I mean by core belief then, and you know, this could be many different things to different people, but just off the top of my head, probably the most important would be what your, for lack of a better term, religious affiliation would be, or what you would, you know, describe yourself as your belief system. So, you know, if you're Buddhist or Roman Catholic, or if you're a Mormon, or, you know, agnostic, or, you know, you worship Gia or whoever, right? That, because a lot of times those issues can become huge issues, right? Because you're just doing different things differently, and it can cause a lot of friction. And not only that, but you know, if you're the only one in your group that's, you know, doing X, Y, Z, that creates a lot of its own problems too. And so some other things that it might be, you know, you're all retired from the same company and you work together for 10 or 15 years, so you know, you have a strong relationship. Or perhaps maybe your blood family, you know, you are very strong with your blood family. And the reason why I'm saying blood family is because, in my opinion, there's two kinds of family. You've got spiritual family and you've got blood family. And a lot of times your spiritual family can actually be stronger, if not much stronger, than blood family, because of your differences in your belief system, shall we say, when it comes to practicing the form of, for lack of a better term, religion that you think is correct, right? Because obviously everyone thinks that what they're doing is the truth and it's right, or else they wouldn't be doing it. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about the same core principle. That core principle is what's going to hold you together. It's what keeps you from going, oh, you know, the first time you get in some type of altercation with someone, you go, oh, you know, I'm sick of this, I'm picking up my marbles and I'm going home. And you know, that same core belief, that same core system is what helps hold you together and also holds everyone accountable. And you know, secondly is, right, you need to be a prepper. And you know, you don't necessarily need to be, you know, 10 years experience prepper with everything in place, but you know, you've got to be, you know, dead set serious about what you're doing and getting with the program, right? So that you're contributing something to the group and, you know, not just being extra weight, so to speak. And I know that, you know, most of you all out there, you're listening to my channel for any length of time, you understand that, and you know, that's the last thing that you would want, right? You would want to contribute something to the group. And so as you are going about, you know, your preparations, whatever those may happen to be, you know, us for and no more is probably not a very good plan. I'm sure that, you know, in some limited circumstances, there may be some times, you know, when that works out for a short period of time, but in the long run, right, I think that's not going to be a fruitful endeavor, shall we say. So yeah, just keep that in mind, right? You need FNGs, treat them right. If you are the FNG, be a good FNG, right? Don't you know, be that guy. And I'm sure I've been on both sides of that, right? Just like many of you have over the years, but hopefully we're learning from our mistakes, right? And we're becoming better people. And then secondly, make sure that you have a common core principle in whatever group it is that you're looking to get established in. And you know, it needs to be something with, you know, a pretty deep conviction of whatever that is. You know, it can't be, oh, we're all stamp collectors. Well, no, that doesn't work. But you know, something that is a very strong core belief system. So thanks for watching today. I greatly appreciate it. I hope that you are having a blessed week, and we'll talk to you next time. Shalom.